Cold eyes, laughing faces, and fingers pointing at everywhere Wine went. It was her fourth day of the first week in her new school. She got transferred here and didn't get a good vibe from the students, nor even the staff members. For example, her first day in school, she saw a boy getting bullied and beaten up by a few students, and the janitor turned a blind eye. He could report it to the principal, the students could report it, but no one did. When Wine tried to side with the boy, a girl grabbed her arm and stopped her. You side with the weak, you become weak. This is what she told her, since it was Wine's first day and the injured boy, in fact, was okay getting bullied. She couldn't do much. However, she regretted it till this day. She should have helped. It's not like she wanted to be approved by people, anyways. So she ignored every staring eye and plugged her earphones listening to her favorite song. That did a good job distracting her. She never understood why everyone stared at her, or why they laughed and whispered with each other. Then again, she was planning to ignore it if she could. She took her things from the locker and checked her schedule. She had a free first class, so she decided to check the sports club everyone is eager to join. She saw big lines of students waiting to fill out the forms. She wanted to see what the hype was about. When she reached the place, she once again saw a great number of students. She stood in front of the wall reading the big poster, which said the sports week was next month and they were accepting admissions in the team. There will be a few tests to get accepted. Is the rich girl taking a part too? Wine turned to find a girl to make sure she was talking to her. Wine, I'm sorry, are you talking to me? The unknown girl laughed, more like mocked. Looking at her friends, all of them looked sinister, yet it didn't fit Wine's confidence. For all Wine remembered, she came in a nice car, but didn't remember doing much to give the impression of being rich otherwise. Yuna, are your parents really rich? Do you think if I do this, they will get me suspended? She placed her finger on Wine's shoulder and pushed her a little mockingly. A lot of students' attention diverted to them, and suddenly no one was interested in sports anymore. Wine frowned, looked at her shoulder, then back at Yuna. Wine, I suggest you do not repeat that. We do not have that kind of relationship to consider it a joke. Yuna, I'm scared. She mocked and laughed, more stepping forward. Yuna, but I want to. What will you do? She grabbed Wine's hair and suddenly pulled onto them. Wine winced at the sudden move and pushed Yuna, who fell back. It did hurt Wine as well, as her hair got pulled, but she was not the one to be pushed around easily. Yuna, did you just push me? She screamed and stood up. Yuna, Uppa! She yelled, and suddenly a boy came out of the room where they were taking the admissions. He was huge, muscular, and powerful. He instantly helped Yuna stand up. Eden, are you okay? What happened? Yuna, she pushed me. Wine. She pulled my hair. Moreover, if you dare even step near me, the result won't be good. She glared. However, internally she was thinking of taking a run. She was brave, not an idiot. No way she could fight this giant monster. Eden, makes me curious. What are you going to do? He grabbed her jaw. One kicked his shin, earning a groan from him, and he, without thinking twice, slammed her head against the wall. The impact made her dizzy, and her head started to bleed. He then pushed her in the crowd. One felt too dizzy to even balance herself on her feet. All she knew was she was pushed from one end to other, while students laughed at her and pulled onto her hair and clothes. She placed a hand on her head and saw blood on her hand. With a dizzy vision, as she kept pushing around, she heard camera clicks and flashes as well. Gathering some courage, she pushed everyone away using full force and rushed out of there. Their evil laughs had somehow imprinted in her brain. When she found a place alone, she slid against the wall down to the floor and shut her eyes tightly. Her head and eyes hurt. She still felt their hands all over her, pushing her, touching her, their laughs, the camera flashes. Her vision slowly got better. If only she was in senses, she might have been able to put up a good fight. Wine, Bixby, call Jungkook. She told her mobile assistant. However, before her order was compiled, she received Jungkook's call. She picked it up and pulled her knees against her chest. Jungkook, get away from those people. I'm coming. He sounded extremely serious. How did he know? Wine, I am aware. Don't drive madly. I'm okay. He cursed internally and told her he was coming soon. And Wine smiled and closed her eyes. It was not after 3 minutes he was there, his steps big and heavy, his body filled with rage, and eyes spat fire as he found her and knelt beside her. Wine looked up, her vision was clear now, yet there was blood dried on her head and her hand. Jungkook saw it, the blood, the handprints, the messed up hair and clothes. The temperature in his eyes fell another octave. No one treated his girl like this, not even him. They were not getting away. Death was the only option he was going to bring them. Jungkook, let's get you treated. Regardless of the terror he spread, when he spoke to her, his voice sounded like angels humming her a peaceful song. Ryan noticed how the whole building was covered with his army. A number of men had taken over inside and outside, not letting a single fly out, let alone a human. She knew it all. Yet, Her eyes stayed on him as she smiled. Wine. Okay. He helped her stand up. She was not wearing her shoes, probably because she was tired. When she stood up, Jungkook stayed on his knees. He held her one foot, placing it over his knee, and wiped the underside of it before placing it in her shoe. He did the same to the other one, wiped the underside of it with his bare hand, and placed it in the shoe, and tied up the laces. Vine had 100 emotions reflecting her eyes, but none of them compared to the love and respect her heart held for him. He stood up and kissed her head before picking her up in bridal style and took her out to his car, where their personal doctor was waiting for her already. Vine was right. As he was taking her out, she saw a large number of men standing at every 5 feet distance, rifles and guns in their hands. There was a great number of black cars surrounding the building. It didn't look any less than a terrorist attack. But this is how it was. When you mess with JK, he was not a very forgiving person, and hell breaks when you touch his girl. To be continued.